It's official. We have a new update on the New York Knicks as an insider has revealed the Knicks' plans to make a few different sneaky moves for this team that will help address the biggest issue that the Knicks have. Meanwhile, we are also getting ready to see some serious changes to this Knicks roster that also look like they are a surefire thing to happen, and we are going to break this all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. Guys, if you're part of that 72% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe. We got daily videos like this and much more coming out. There's the coaching search going on. Free agency's about to begin. Trade season's underway. And the Knicks very likely will look to move up in the draft as well. So there's so much news surrounding the Knicks, as well as we have great live streams here, a bunch of TikToks and YouTube shorts as well. But let's jump into the video. There is a lot to go over on the Knicks. As we know, this is going to be a busy offseason for Leon Rose and New York. Now, the Knicks obviously need to go get a head coach. That is something that is at the top of their list right now and will continue to be at the top of their list until they go and hire a head coach. Now, we know Taylor Jenkins is getting the first interview, the former head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies. We know Mike Brown is getting the second interview, the former head coach of the Sacramento Kings. And we also know the Knicks will start to talk to a bunch of teams about their assistant coaches as well. So we'll see names like Johnny Bryant, Chris Quinn, Dave Bliss, Lloyd Pierce all pop up in the near future as well. However, free agency is another part of this offseason that's going to be big for the Knicks. The Knicks have a good core right now with their top 7 guys in Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, and Deuce McBride. Now, it's not guaranteed that all 7 of those guys are going to be back. I'd say it's a 50-50 shot right now, but with a lot of it hinging on Mitchell Robinson, if we're being honest. I do love Mitch, and again, we will talk more about that as time goes on. But Mitchell Robinson, I could see getting traded, and I don't want him to at all. He's my favorite player on the Knicks, so before people blast me for that like usual, I don't want Mitch traded. He's my favorite Knick. But they do have some other moves to make. A lot of Knicks fans, I'd say the majority of Knicks fans, don't want to see the Knicks go out there and make a big trade. Obviously, they're not trading for Kevin Durant. That ship has sailed. We've seen the Giannis Antetokounmpo stuff die down as it appears Giannis is staying in Milwaukee. So that leaves the Knicks with the other option that's not trading for a star unless it's Jaren Jackson Jr., which we'll see. But outside of that, it'll likely be the other situation here, where the Knicks go out there and they create a deeper roster that still has great talent throughout it. The Knicks have good enough talent. They have a good enough starting 5 to win the NBA Finals, but they need more bench help. And a new update from James L. Edwards has revealed a lot on this, with Edwards saying, I wouldn't be shocked if the Knicks brought back DeLon Wright and or Landry Shamet. And both of these guys did have their moments with the Knicks for sure. Shamet finished his season averaging 6 points per game, 1 rebound, getting half an assist and half a steal per game in limited minutes, while shooting 46% from the field and 40% from 3. He also shot 47% on corner threes. Shamet was excellent for this Knicks team, and he is someone who fans entirely agreed wanted to come back to this team. And DeLon Wright, though the numbers didn't show it, on the season, he put up 3.1 points per game, 1.7 rebounds, and 2 assists a night, while also getting a steal. His minutes on the Knicks, for the most part, were limited, though he did add some good minutes in important times, while also being a savvy veteran on this Knicks roster, shooting 42% on corner threes, even though his regular three-point percentage was in the 20s at 27%. Look, obviously, these are not the headlining moves. These are not what the Knicks for clicks stuff usually is. This is not Kevin Durant. This is not Giannis. This is the Knicks making smart moves for cheap prices. Look, there's no way around it. DeLon Wright's getting a minimum contract, and it's likely going to be by the Knicks. The Knicks traded for DeLon Wright because they liked DeLon Wright. They had a few other options for Jericho Sims, but they liked DeLon, so they went with DeLon Wright, a move that did prove fruitful at points in this season. I mean, specifically in regards to the playoffs for DeLon Wright, that the numbers, again, did not show it. He added an impact onto the Knicks in that series against the Indiana Pacers. At points, he looked like the best defender for Tyrese Halliburton. He did a very good job on him, and he clearly should have been playing throughout the playoffs along with Landry Shamet, someone who quickly became beloved by Knicks fans. Knicks fans were chanting his name when the Knicks won Game 5 against the Pacers, the final game they would win that season. And now Shamet is someone who has a good connection with the Knicks and has already hinted that he is going to come back to the team. Now, we just take a look at Landry Shamet's numbers. over the last 4 games of the playoffs when he really got minutes. He averaged 13.2 minutes per game, put up 5.8 points in that span, and shot 50% from the field and 53% from 3. Landry Shamet went out there, and he did exactly what you could have asked for from Shamet. He did everything that they needed from him, and he was a very solid bench piece who proved he deserves to be in the NBA, and he belongs to be back on the New York Knicks. DeLon Wright, the numbers did not show it as much, and the offense was not really there. He only shot 16.7% from 3, given he only took a good 6 threes, but he made one of them, which is not what you want to see, especially a few of those were in the corner that he missed. On top of shooting 22% from the field. The field goal numbers were not there. The defense was solid, and he did add solid minutes as well, getting 1.3 assists in those 11 minutes. Given, I think DeLon Wright would come back and find himself in a depth role, not being someone who's going to see the court a whole lot, but will be someone who the Knicks do like to have around on the roster, which is important. Now, you also look at a guy like Tyler Kolek who comes in here. The Knicks are going to use Kolek in the near future. Kolek is an older guy. He was drafted after a couple years in college. He's 23 years old. He's ready to go, and he played over 15 minutes only a couple of times this season, but he showed a lot of potential in that span. He put up 4.5 points per game. He put up 6 assists as well, including games where he was getting 7, 9, 7, 8 assists in these games. He really got his groove going, and he really is an excellent passer. We saw him work well with Landry Shamet together, and Tyler Kolek quickly becomes a bigger part of this because you look at Kolek's game, the Knicks need another ball handler on the court. Tyler Kolek does that. He gives you that, and you don't have to go out and spend money on that position, which is even better because then you're like, no, we have Kolek. We're good on that. And yeah, the defense is not good. Neither is Jalen Brunson's, and I know Tyler Kolek is light years away from Jalen Brunson, but at the same time, what we're looking at is a Knicks team that will still have good defenders out there. Next to Kolek in that backcourt off the bench is going to be Deuce McBride, an excellent defender. That cleans up for stuff. Also, Kolek is guarding guys off the bench as well. You could easily hide Tyler Kolek when he's coming off the bench for 15 to 18 minutes a night, and that's probably on the more generous side of minutes that Kolek would get. He'd be their 9th man. So it becomes this situation where Kolek would be good for this Knicks team, and he also worked well with Shamet, which makes you like him even more. Over his last 20 games, Landry Shamet put up 7 points a night. He played 14.5 minutes per game, shot 47% from the field and 48% from 3. Once he got back from that shoulder injury and got his confidence back, we saw a version of Landry Shamet that all Knicks fans should want back on the team. And the good news here is Shamet looks like he wants to be back. He posted a picture from his apartment in Manhattan with his street sign, the Landry Shamet Circle, with tagging the Knicks on Instagram saying New York Knicks with the orange and blue hearts. Shamet liked his time with the Knicks, and there's something to note here. Shamet could have left. Neither of those guys were Landry Shamet. Shamet could have left the Knicks if he wanted to. They cut him. He dislocated his shoulder, and they cut him from the team. Now, obviously, teams weren't lining up being like, hey, this guy just dislocated his shooting shoulder. Let's go sign him. But he stuck it out with the Knicks. He was happy for the Knicks to draft him 2nd overall in the G League draft so he could stay, so he could work with the Knicks, so he could work with what he figured would be his future teammates. And that paid off, and he got signed, and it worked out well for the Knicks. It paid to be fruitful on both ends for them to wait patiently, get Shamet back from that injury, and once he was back, he was excellent. Not at first. He was really, really not good at first, but then he got a groove going, and he showed that he is an 8th man in this league. He can be your shooter off the bench. He could add some scoring. He adds some aggression as well. He's an aggressive guy who's not afraid to go flying onto the floor for the ball. In every sense of the word, he is discount Dante DiVincenzo, something the Knicks did miss last year when they didn't have Dante. Now, yeah, Shamet's production is not DiVincenzo's, but it is good. And if you can get good production off your bench on a minimum deal again, you gotta take that. It just makes perfect sense for the Knicks to bring back Landry Shamet, and for that matter, makes perfect sense for the Knicks to bring back DeLon Wright on that veteran minimum deal. Now, DeLon's been in the NBA for 10 years now, so there is the world that the veteran minimum is too high, and the Knicks don't want to do that to avoid the second apron. In that case, we will not see DeLon Wright back on the New York Knicks. But there's also 2 other players that we can bank on not seeing back, and one of them is Precious Achiuwa. Achiuwa was solid in his 2 seasons, 1.5 seasons with the Knicks, and he kind of fell out of the rotation by the end of things. He gave some decent moments in the playoffs when Mitchell Robinson was getting the Hack-a-Mitch thing going on. However, it looks like Achiuwa will leave for a role that is bigger for him, and he is not the only one. So starting with Achiuwa, last season, That's not Achua. That's DeLon Wright. Starting with Achua, he put up 6.6 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, and 1 assist, getting 0.7 steals and 0.8 blocks per game. He played very sparse minutes. They were never consistent. He shot 50% from the field and 28% from three. There was a stretch when every time he'd make a three, the Knicks would win the game. That was fun. But another guy who we likely will not see return to the Knicks is Cameron Payne. Now, Payne put up 7 points and 1.5 rebounds per game with 3 assists. He was solid off the bench and gave the Knicks that spark that Cameron Payne gives everywhere. He shot 40% from the field, which is not great, and 36% from three, which is pretty average. Shot 37.5% on corner threes. Cameron Payne had his moments, most notably against the Milwaukee Bucks. He had a great moment when he just put up points like there was no tomorrow. That's what Cameron Payne is. He's a spark pluggy guy, but there's moments when he just does not show up at all, and that happened for most of the playoffs, which got Landry Shamet this chance, and now is likely going to lead to Landry Shamet keeping his job with the Knicks, unlike Payne or Achua, who we will likely see leave for elsewhere. But guys, what do you think? Should the Knicks keep Shamet? Should the Knicks keep Wright? I think it's a no-brainer keeping Landry Shamet. I think you should instantly try to get him back as soon as humanly possible. Outside of that, I think they should also look with DeLon Wright, and if they could sign him to that veterans minimum deal and it won't go over that second apron, then I think that's a great move too. It gives you depth. You don't necessarily have to play them at all, or you could play them low minutes, while you can continue to use that mid-level exception to try to go out there and get another good bench piece for this team as well, while knowing you do have some insurance towards the end of your bench, while also still having exciting young players like Kevin McCullough Jr., Pacome Dadier, and Ariel Hukporti. I think Kolek and Hukporti have the best chances to get minutes. They're going to slow roll Dadier while he gets everything going. They're going to slow roll McCullough to make sure he's a little bit healthier, but once that happens, the Knicks will have great depth, and they just need to add some top-heavy strength to that bench with Deuce and either Mitch or Josh Hart as well. What do you guys want to see happen? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.